Okay, so I'm just recording this so I can do a quick tutorial here. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is just, and I wanted to show everybody this anyway, how to get into Canva and how to create like what I call like a slide deck or a template that you can use over and over again. Okay, so, and you can do this in free. You don't have to have the pro version. This is pro, but there are so many free things you can do in Canva. Okay. So the first thing is when you are on this Canva page, you can go under the brand kit, and I would recommend coming down here and picking what colors you like. Okay. And you can add them in here, find the color that you want and find the exact shade that you like. And you can change that anytime, but have those in there. And I'll show you why in a minute. You also want to find the fonts that you like. These are some that we've uploaded, but we find the ones, okay, these are the ones, our main fonts that we like. If you have any logos, you'll add them in here. But if you don't have one yet, don't worry about it. Okay, so the first thing you'll do is now you've got that brand kit. Okay, and like I said, it can change. You want to create a post. And what I recommend you do is going up to the top right and hit create design. And we're just going to do Instagram posts. You could do Facebook posts. You mainly play in Instagram, correct, Sally?
No, I'm Facebook.
I meant Facebook. Okay, so let's go to Facebook post. So it automatically comes up with the right dimensions. Okay.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create templates. So right here, I'm just going to do. Okay, I'm just going to make some. Now over here, if I put, I'm just going to put quote cards. I can search for it. And it's going to come up with a bunch of different templates. And the ones that have the little crown are only available through Pro. Okay, but you might be able to find something. Don't look at color. Look at the way you're like, oh, I like this with the picture behind it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do something like that. And then I go and I say, okay, I want to change the color here to my brand color. And if I click that, it will change that color. And I can change it to my brand colors. And I can even go down here and say, I want to change all that green to that orange, and it will change them both. Okay. And then I can put in that sample. If I don't like that picture, I could get rid of the picture and I could just put
How did you do that?
How I selected it. I clicked it. See how it's outlines with that blue green. Okay. And then I just hit delete and it disappeared.
Okay.
And if I want to add in a photo, I can either upload one of my own, like if you, like for instance, you love calla lilies, right? So I could upload a calla lily, or I could, let's see, I'm trying to see if I have a picture. Let's say I use this one.
Okay.
Okay. And I just like, oh, I want Christmas behind me. Then I go to position and I want it to the back. And you just, I mean, I've played around with it a little bit here. A little less transparent. So do you see I can play with it how I want?
Transparency. What was the last thing that you did, the transparency thing?
Oh, the transparency. I went up this little checkerboard.
Okay.
And then that makes it light or dark.
Okay, so it fades into the background. Got it. Okay.
Yep. So if I don't want that, okay, but let's say I'm like, hey, I want to change the color because there was another image here. Like that. And say, hey, I want this to be one of my templates that I can just change this quote over and over again. And I'm changing it to my brand. So see how I'm changing all of that thing. And then I'm to say, okay, I like this. This is not what I'm going to use right now, but it's one I like. So then I'm going to do, I can just duplicate it. So I just hit that duplicate button.
Okay.
Exactly the same, but this time I might change the colors around so that way it looks a little different. Does that make sense? Like, oh, it's still on my brand, but I'm just changing up the look and feel.
Okay.
And then I might say, hey, I want to add a page, but I want to do a different kind of quote. And I just hit delete because I don't want that. And again, I go back and see, so the template will use that one, or I can say, let's say I'm like, hey, I like this one, or here's one. And it didn't change it on all of them. It just changed it on that page. And I can take that as the exact same thing again and go to my brand kit, or I just go to my colors up here and I change the color. Like, oh, I want that. Oh, I didn't change. Those are all different colors apparently. But you see, I can, oh, I want to change it. And I want to change all to that color. So do you see how I'm quickly changing that, but I'm using their template? Okay. And then I can use this over and over. I can put in my quotes in here. I could put in a picture of me or somebody else. If I delete that, I can just add a picture in. And then I have that every time to use, and I can come in and just reuse it. And to download it, so mine's connected to Facebook, so it will publish straight to Facebook. But if I want to download it separately, or I'm like, hey, I'm going to make 5 quotes so I can have a quote a day in Facebook, right? Or 7 quotes. I'm going to make 7 of them here. I hit the download button and it will download all pages, or I can just pick which one page I want to download.
Okay. And here's a weird question. Is the @really great site, is that going to be printed at the bottom?
Yes, if I don't change it. So what you would want to change that is if you have a brand name, if you're branding you like Sally Riley, or like at Purpose-Filled Women, Disciple Thought Leaders, or at Connie Soul, or whatever the name is of your Facebook page or whatever you want.
Okay.
Quoted. Or I can say, let's say this quote is by Connie Sokol, right?
Okay.
I can take that and I could even move it up here. Or I could say, instead of daily motivation, I can delete that whole thing, but I can just arrange and go, how do I want this to look?
Okay.
It might take a little more time in the beginning to do that. But then if I hit home, I come here and I'll have my quote card templates. And every time I want to use it, I can either just go in there and edit them however I want, seeing it saves them. Or the other option is to go and I could make a copy. And I said, hey, let's make a copy of this. And let's say I wanted to do it slightly different colors or whatever. Does that make sense? So I can go in and reuse it that way.
Okay.
So simple way is, like I said, that's why I like on Canva, you come on here. If I want, say, instead of quote, what if I want something that's like, I'm trying to think. Like it's got a postcard, it's got, oh, let's say I want to do something like this where it's an announcement. And I'm like, oh, I like that. And it has 2 template styles. I'm going to hit add page. I'm like, let's apply both pages. Look, it just added them both in there. And it took away the other template, but that's okay. And then I can go in there and I can change it again to all my colors like that. So that's the nice thing about Canva, is being able to, oh, I'm going to take what somebody else has and I'm going to just change it to make it look my own. So, I mean, oh, I can change it that way or that way. It's just, some of them won't have that, but that's a basic way to do that. I'm like, oh, I would rather have something like this. Let's just apply that one. And this is a postcard, but do you know what I mean? You could do something like that. So,
okay.
And see, it kept that other one. So that's how you go and you just kind of create it. The other option is some easy templates. Oh, see, it's got lots of stuff on here. I'm like, oh, I like that line, but I don't really want that picture. Or see, and it's like, oh, I could put another picture there, delete it. I just try to make it simple. A simple thing would be, hey, there's a background color. There's a border. Where you find the borders are up here in elements and lines and shapes.
Okay.
And under lines and shapes, so let's say I want that border. And I take off the other one. And it's got a color, but I can change the color to whatever color I want it to be. So, and then I can just fix it And if I can, hey, I really like the look of this. This is the look and feel I'm going for. Then I can just reuse it. And I can even duplicate that page and make them change out the color scheme. So,
Okay.
does that kind of give you an idea of how you could do that on Canva?
It does. I'm not really sure that I have all those buttons because your screen looks different than mine when I go in there.
Okay. And that's because you are on an iPad, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I just did it through the website, but even through the website, it's a little bit different. It's just weird. So.
And I don't know if that's because it's doing a mobile version.
Yeah.
What that looks like.
Yeah, because the phone looks different than the computer too. I prefer to use the computer. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more friendly.
Also, it could be different because if you're using a paid version or a non-paid version.
Yes, except that Sally and I have talked, I use a free version on my phone, like for me, so that I can use it. And it does look a little bit different. So like I'll do the plus button there. And let's say I do a Facebook post. And so the buttons are down here below. And so if I say I want a template, let's say I pick that template. So I picked a template, right? And then if I want to add, actually on this one, so then you would have to scroll. That's where all the buttons are to edit it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and so that might be, and I don't know if the iPad is similar, if they're down on the bottom. Does this look? Yeah.
It's like most of the stuff was missing on the iPad app. My husband spent like 3 hours with me and we were just like, oh my gosh. And then we finally went, screw this. And we just went to the website because it was like, look, it's totally different. And he's like, yeah, it really is. It's like they've got half of it on iPad, but the real thing is on the website. So anyway, and then he bought me a computer. He is so obnoxious. He's like, well, you need a computer.
I call that supportive.
I know.
Right?
Way. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I'm like, oh my gosh, you've spent so much money on me already and I haven't even done anything. I've just cost money.
That is an amazing supportive husband right there.
He is.
Absolutely.
So I don't know when that's coming, but then I'll have to relearn it again. Anyway,
okay. And that's
it'll
okay.
be
Well, I'll make sure I post this in the social media training. Okay. And that way you can go back and see, and I can do a couple like that if you need, but that's when we get on your call, if that's what we need to look at, we'll try to figure out, even if you have to, I know it's weird because you're on
we
your
tried
iPad.
to share my screen last time and we couldn't. Yeah.
So, okay. But yeah, that's what I would say. Look on there and see if on the iPad, if they're on the bottom, because my guess is it's like hidden in some of those.
A plus.
Like, the plus
So,
sign.
Okay. I will
Because
do
that's
that.
where, when I do that, sorry, my screen changed. But when I do the plus sign, like I just said, the uploads, the text, the background, all that, and it even has more, there's more there. So that might be where it's the hiding.
It's hiding in it. Okay. I will check that out.
Yeah. So elements, that kind of thing. So let me know if that helps and just kind of play around with it and see, but we can get you those quote cards. The other thing is if we need to, like, I send you that link so you can say, oh yeah, let me go in and see if I can download it and edit it myself. We can try that too. So,
Okay.
And then you can arrange that. So maybe I can try that and see if that will help. And I can send you some of our templates and you just change your colors on them.
All right. That helps.
That'd
I'm
be
going to
helpful.
go experiment.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.